Welcome into the Ports Player Spotlight. I'm Curtis Bryant, joined now by Ports starting pitcher Shawn Haviland. Shawn, a great start to the year. You're first in high A. How have you made the transition from low A seem so smooth?
I don't know. I think the same things you have to do in low A to get outs and be successful are the same things you have to do here. The same things you do in the big league level. Keep the ball down, change speeds. So I've just been feel like I've been commanding my fastball pretty well. And
the life of a major leaguer, you change teams a lot of new teammates, a lot of new coaches. How much of a luxury has it been with manager Steve Scarsoni making the jump from Kane County with you?
It's been great, and he is a great manager to begin with. He knows exactly what buttons to push, when to get on us, but when we've had a rough day to let us, work through it ourselves, and keeps it real fun in the clubhouse and the dugout. So it's nice to have some continuity and not have to try to learn a new manager. And I think that might have something to do with a good start so far.
Now, scouts wouldn't describe your stuff as overpowering, yet you're tied for the Cal League leading strikeouts with 27. How are you able to get so many swings and misses?
I mean, if they don't know a fastball is coming, it's tough to, it's all about perceived velocity, where if you're throwing a changeup that's 10 miles per hour slower, they're going to sit on that, and then all of a sudden the 90 comes at them, and they're going to be late. So I think a lot of my strikeouts have to do with that. I mean, I'll throw a changeup and a curveball pretty slow for strikes, and that makes my fastball look harder.
Now, I noticed that after an out, when you're out there pitching, the infield will send it around the horn, and then you always take the return throw with your bare hand. Is that a bit of a superstition?
Yeah, I have like a million superstitions. That's probably one of the weirder ones. I don't know when I started doing it. I just think in Little League I just did it one time, and now I feel weird if I don't do it. It gets me in trouble sometimes with the new third baseman. They'll fire one at me, and I want to go for my bare hand, but I have to let it go. So.
Now, you played and graduated from Harvard. Obviously, you enrolled there, you have a very bright future, but it's not known for churning out a lot of baseball prospects. When you made the decision to go there, were you confident it was a path to professional baseball?
Absolutely. On the team that I was on my freshman year, we went to the regional. We beat a couple top 25 teams, and 3 guys from my class are still playing. A guy from the class ahead of me is in AAA, so there's some good talent there. Just because it's it's cold and the scouts don't get up there doesn't mean there's not some good players.
Yeah, what was your hardest class at Harvard?
They were all real hard, but you have to take 2 science classes, and I am not a science guy, so I took the 2 easy ones, which were called Dinosaurs and Cosmic Connections, and
sounds like fun.
They were both really hard. So, those had to be the hardest.
Yeah. Now, what's the social scene like at an Ivy League school? People probably the perception's kind of stuffy and a lot of just chess club parties, or is it fun?
I had a blast there. I mean, I roomed with a couple of baseball guys, a couple of lacrosse guys, a football quarterback. He's actually on the Packers now. He's backup. But I was worried about that when I visited Yale and I visited Harvard. I thought it was going to be everyone studying all Friday and Saturday night, but it wasn't like that at all. I mean, I would argue we had more fun there than anywhere else. So.
Now, we know in football, Harvard and Yale have that great rivalry. Is it still just as big in baseball?
It's not as big because we smoke them all the time. Our big rivals probably Princeton. They turn out some real good players. They have Will Venable on the Padres, and Ollendorf, and Chris Young is on the Padres as well. So they're probably our biggest rival. We hate to play them, and they hate to play us.
Like a true rivalry. Yeah. Now you have your own blog, Ivy League to MLB.com. What inspired you to create a blog?
The guy that I work out with in the off season is Eric Cressy, and he writes a really famous lifting blog of training athletes and stuff like that. And he's like, you kind of have an interesting story to tell. An Ivy League guy. There's not a lot of us in the minor leagues, and the minor leagues is interesting on its own. And it's like it'd be cool if you kind of just wrote about it, see what you thought. And at first, I was a little skeptical because I'm not that interesting, to be honest. But the feedback's been great, and everyone's pretty interested to see that. I guess I'm kind of rare in the sense that I went to Harvard, I graduated, and I'm still playing.
Now, there's some really insightful thoughts on there, a lot of technical stuff about pitching. Have you given any thoughts maybe coaching when your playing days are done?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's a long way off, but I can't really see myself working anywhere outside of baseball. It's the thing I've loved my whole life. It's, I ask my parents, that's what I think about morning, noon, and night. So, I mean, that'd be cool to coach, and be a general manager type thing, but it's definitely, I would love to stay in baseball as long as I could.
You got to spend some time with the big league club, the Oakland Athletics, in spring training. What were you able to pick up from your time there?
That was just a cool experience. Everything, just being in the locker room, and I going to school in Boston, seeing Coco Crisp, and then he's right next to me in the locker room. And that was really cool. And Ben Sheets, and I mean, he was a guy I idolized growing up. So but it was cool to see how hard they actually work. Sometimes you get the impression they're just kind of showing up, but especially from the pitcher's standpoint, every single throw is with a purpose. Everything they do is to get better, to stay consistent. That was really cool to see.
Now, Michael Wurtzen was down here for a couple of rehab starts. Were you able to pick his brain at all?
Yeah, everyone wanted to know how he throws the slider because that was rated the hardest pitch to hit in baseball last year. But he was really a nice guy. It was cool to see his pregame routine and kind of how he locks himself in, how he focuses and stuff like that.
Now, you're from the Northeast. You played in the Midwest last year. Now you're all the way out to the West here in California. How does the city of Stockton in California compare to back home?
I like it. I'll tell you what. There's probably not a nicer stadium in minor league baseball than this one. So it's and Stockton's been great so far. I wish the wind was blowing a little more. But,
True.
But no, I've liked it. I'm excited to get on the off day to go to San Francisco. I've never been there, so California is really new to me. So it's way different than home.
Definitely. Now, in your last start, there weren't any bench players available due to some promotions that day. In the second inning, center fielder David Thomas got hurt, and he was due up to come to bat the next inning. So there was no one left to bat. So you had to bat. What was your reaction when the coaches said you're going to have to go into the batter's box?
I was pumped because I haven't hit since senior year in high school, and if you ask my Harvard coach, I begged him every single day to let me hit. In every pitcher's mind, they could hit 20 home runs and bat 300, which is obviously not the case. But so I was excited, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't look too bad out there.
Yeah. Were you surprised at all when you walked on 4 pitches in your second at bat?
I was surprised, but I can see how it happens. Anytime I've faced a pitcher, it's a lose-lose for you. If you throw it down the middle and they get a hit, then you're like, oh, you gave up a hit to a pitcher. But if you walk them, then you just walked a pitcher. So you're expected to strike them out.
All right, Shawn, you are a graduate of Harvard with a degree in government. I have some questions here from, are you smarter than a 5th grader? Do you think you're game?
I don't think so. I watched that show. It's not easy.
So we're going to put you through it anyway. Okay, so first question, we started with some government questions, so right up your alley, I would think. First question, how many years is one term for a U.S. representative?
I'm going to say 6. 4 or 6.
I'm afraid it's 2.
Senator. I was going to say 2.
Senator is 6, and the House is 2.
0 for 1.
0 for 1, but hey, it's baseball, you get the next 4. You're doing great. So, second question, who was the first president to be impeached?
It was not Nixon. He was not the first one. It was Johnson, the Civil War one.
Andrew Johnson in the post-Civil War area. Very, very good. Next question. This one a little harder. First president to be born a U.S. citizen.
Obviously not Washington. I'm going to say Andrew Jackson. Is that late? It's got to be earlier than that.
Martin Van Buren. 8th president, born in 1782. Still 1 for 3. Batting 333 so far. Taking a little left turn here. We're going to see how well-rounded you are. This one's true or false, so 50-50. A turtle is an amphibian.
False, mammal.
It is false. I wish you wouldn't have gone into greater detail. It's actually a reptile, but
only given that as much information they asked for.
Get the point. Right? 2 for 4. And final question. Little geography for you. Mount Rushmore is located in what state?
Is that Wyoming?
It's South Dakota.
South Dakota.
But 3 for 5. I mean, that's a heck of a day.
That's not that good.
Heck of a day. Anyway, Shawn, I think the interview's gone pretty well. One last question. Good enough to warrant a blog post?
Absolutely. That's cool.
All right. So remember to check out his blog, ivyleague2mlb.com. It's your Ports Ace, Shawn Haviland, on your Ports Player Spotlight.